Hey, Pav.
Hi, Che. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. We are Che and Pav, middle school teachers from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and we are hosts of the Staff Room Podcast and also The Drive on Whitehead Radio.
But this morning, we are here to introduce Evo live in Dubai and his 3 guests that he has on for this show this morning.
So first off, Evo is going to have Barbara Bray. She is a creative learning specialist and author and also a podcast host.
Next, Evan Whitehead, his 3 Bs, Director of Special Services, National Consultant, Trainer, and Presenter.
We will also have Eric Kussin, founder and CEO of the hashtag Same Here movement.
So sit back, grab a coffee, enjoy the show, Evo, live in Dubai. Remember to inspire,
don't require,
and always be a humble servant.
Thank you very much, Che and Pav from Canada, for the warm intro to our guests. Welcome everyone to Ed Talks live from Dubai. My name is Evo Hanan. I have been in education for 2 decades now, and this show is all about learning experiences for teachers and parents to share ideas and to understand a little bit more about what's currently happening to help towards homeschooling and remote learning. You can follow me on Twitter at Evo_Hanan. You can follow the conversation that we constantly have on Twitter at the hashtag Agency Ed Talks Live. And you can also obviously subscribe to this YouTube channel as well, where you can see some of the previous episodes. I'd like to thank our sponsors for tonight's show. Our supporters, they are AHA Process Inc. They've also previously supported a couple of other shows as well, which has been great. So our big question for this show is, how can we stay positive during difficult times? As we know, during the last couple of months, it's been very difficult across the world during this pandemic, where people have felt isolated, people's movement has been restricted. We've had to adopt different methods of living styles, different methods of working and education as well. So this is going to be something that we're going to discuss across the next 40 minutes. The guests who are going to be helping me discuss this big question are Barbara Bray. She's a creative learning strategist. She's also an author, a podcast, and a Twitter chat host as well. Evan Whitehead, Director of Special Services, National Consultant. He's also a trainer and a presenter. And last but not least, Eric Kussin, founder and CEO of the Same Here movement, and we are all a little crazy. We're also going to have our in-show game, which is called Crack the Code. All you have to do is choose the right colour, number and letter to crack the code and possibly win a $50 Amazon gift card. If you would like to enter, you still have a little bit of time. Just go to this link above that you can see here to register for this in-show competition. So, there's also a way that you can engage with this big question. At the last show, we introduced this idea of a wonder wall. You can use this link above me, padlet.com/edtalkslive/samehere, and you can contribute towards this wonder wall with your own ideas to spread positivity during this month. Currently, this is how the wonder wall looks, a lot of which was started off during the last show. If you feel that you would like to add your contribution during this show or after, please do so. So our first guest, Barbara Bray, she is a creative learning strategist from California and the author of Define Your Why. You can see her details here, including her Twitter if you'd like to follow her, and her website here. So, Barbara, how are you this evening? Oh, this morning even.
Oh, it's early. Yes, I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be here with you,
Thank
talking positively.
What time is it there in Oakland, right?
Oakland, California. It's 8 a.m., which is not that early. It's just earlier than you.
A little bit earlier than where we are now in Dubai. Yeah. So, Barbara, you do a lot of fantastic work, and you've brought out a book recently, Define Your Why. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Define Your Why was, I have two other books. I wrote, I co-authored with Kathleen McClaskey. I wrote Make Learning Personal and How to Personalize Learning. And then I started thinking about the why. We had started with the what and realized that if you don't have that why and that purpose, a lot of times you just don't keep going with, whatever you're working on. So I started my podcast first. In fact, you were on it.
I was, thank you.
Yes, it was wonderful. And one of the things that I found is it's all about the stories. And so I started collecting these stories of the struggles people were going through and how they got past them and how they stayed positive. It just amazed me. So my book, Define Your Why, the subtitle is Own Your Story So You Can Live and Learn on Purpose. And so that's kind of where I was going with it. And so there's 26 stories in my book from amazing, inspirational people. And that's kind of one reason why I was excited about it.
That's great.
It came out in February. Do you want me to tell you what happened?
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure we could all guess that it hasn't gone the way you'd like to, which leads me actually to the next question. How in this current climate do you stay positive?
Well, first I have to say is it kind of sucked. After I had a whole bunch of workshops and book signings and things scheduled all the way up until November, and they were all either postponed or canceled. And I was feeling pretty, like I felt like the world was, it was just falling apart. Yeah. And then I realized, get over it, Barbara. It's a worldwide crisis. Come on, everybody's going through this. But I did have my ups and downs. I did something kind of strange. I went crazy trying to, you said we're crazy. Well, yeah, I am a little crazy. But I went a real crazy trying to get everyone to know about my book. I started, working 14, 15 hours a day, trying to do all the podcasts, trying to do everything. And I became a human doing instead of a human being. Okay. I was just working. And I realized it's not what you need now.
No.
I needed to pause and take care of me. So that's what I did. I stopped. I looked at what are my things that mean a lot to me. And some of those were my family. I needed to reach out to them because I couldn't see them face to face. I had to figure out ways we could spend more time together. 100%. I needed to contact friends and spend time with them, even if it was on the phone or other ways, and let them know how much they meant to me. So I even reached out to people I haven't talked to in years, and people did that to me. It was like the connection started getting stronger. And then I started saying, I need to balance my life with play. So I've been doing puzzles with my husband. We have one that's really tough right now. So we were up till like 1 a.m. last night. But and I'm working in my garden, reading, and also what I'm doing is trying to do things that I haven't done in a long time, like play the piano. But don't ask me to play because I'm really bad. But at least I'm trying some things. Even trying to learn a new language. So I said, you know what? This is the time I can do it if I pause and take time for me.
Absolutely. I mean, you've obviously mentioned a bunch of ideas there. Can you highlight 3 tips that you could leave any of the viewers with on ways to stay positive during difficult times?
Well, one, be okay with not being okay. You see, right now, you must be having feelings that you're going up, the ups and downs and crying. I had a week of crying. My family was worried about me. And then I realized, I don't think I'm the only one going through that. It's like, this is, no one's ever gone through this, and the whole world is going through it. And then you're living in a time of uncertainty, so you have an okay to be sad sometimes and forgive yourself if you say something you wish you hadn't said. I mean, we're doing things that we're reacting because we don't know what's going to happen next. So be okay with not being okay is the first one. Does that sound good?
Yeah, no, that sounds good. You've got 2 others. Any others?
Yeah. Well, the other one is an attitude of gratitude. I found that if I wake up every morning feeling like I'm grateful for my breathing, for my life, for the sunshine, for whatever is happening, it changes my mindset. I had that mindset where I was doom and gloom. I didn't want to get out of bed. So now I figured I needed that attitude of that. So I have a gratitude jar. I write a gratitude note every morning. And then at the end of the week, I go in my jar and I take out one and I read it. And I think those things, the little things are going to come back that were tough. And there's going to be the big things. You'll find out what you're grateful for. I didn't say one thing I wanted to let you know about the first one was Keisha McDonald was on your last show.
Yeah.
And she and I did a reflection on mental health awareness all year long. And now we're going to do a Twitter chat on the 1st, that mental health awareness every day.
Great.
So we feel that's so important. I just want to let you know about that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, I mean, so many insights. And thank you very much for sharing some of your story with us tonight, Barbara. Enjoy the rest of your day ahead. Enjoy your weekend. And I look forward to catching up with you soon. Thank you, Barbara.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
So, as well as Barbara, who you can actually see supporting us here for our education community, there's also a bunch of other education communities that are quite active on Twitter and other social media platforms. I'd like to thank them right now for supporting the show. The Crazy PLN, the Staff Room podcast that you saw with Shay and Pav, who introduced the show, Learn by Layers, KDSL, Less Than Impossible, A Better Classroom, the EduTable, Inspired Citizens, the Designcast podcast, the Ed Talks Live, We Are One Team, and Let Your Voice Be Heard, the Tiny Voice Movement. So, thank you very much for those guys who are supporting the show and helping to get this message out there. With that in mind, I'd like to show you a message that has been created to help promote positivity by some of the educators around the world. Take a look.
There's a lot of people telling you that you can do things. Find the ones that are going to tell you you can. Let them inspire you and guide you.
These days, we're more connected than ever, and yet many of us feel like we're alone. But we're not alone. In fact, I encourage you to reach out, make that connection. You might find that you become the friend that somebody else needs.
Thank you. Being positive now isn't always that easy, but if you start every morning with an attitude of gratitude, it'll help you get through the day and have that positive outlook. So I'm grateful for you.
Remember to praise your family members and your friends. Tell them how proud you are of them and how grateful you are for them. Some of them may need to hear that more than you realize.
Hi there, Nia Machilwant here, coming from New Zealand. I just want to say, keep recharging those batteries physically and mentally so that you can keep being a light for yourself and for others.
Let's listen to our students. They deserve the best from us teachers. Let's listen and pay attention. Escuchemos a nuestros alumnos. Merecen lo mejor de nosotros. Let's listen and pay attention.
Vulnerability is the key to connection. If we don't open up, there's no way for us to come together. And the only way to do what society is telling us we need to do right now, which is stop the stigma, is not by telling people to stop the stigma. It's by being open, sharing our stories, and showing that we all go through challenges. That's part of the human condition, and that's what ties us together. Same here.
So you can see that part of the throw the mic kind of movement that was started actually in the previous show with myself and Evan Schwartz has turned into a little video promoting positivity. We'll be hearing a little bit more from Eric in a few short moments. Our next guest is live from Chicago, Evan Whitehead, Director of Special Services in Lindop Schools District 92, a national consultant and trainer and presenter for the AHA process. Evan can be found here at this link on Twitter, and to connect with him as a trainer, you can find him here at this hyperlink. So, Evan, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Evo. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for joining us. How has your day started so far in Chicago?
It's doing pretty well. The sun's out, no complaints, weather's good. So definitely happy day.
That's good. Well, I mean, you certainly sound positive. You are a busy man. You seem to have so many fingers and so many pies. How do you balance everything, Evan?
Well, for me, I really make sure that I have a program in place, and more so a personal program for me to make sure that I have a schedule and a routine that I put into place every day. So aside from, doing my jobs and the things that you talked about earlier, I also am a mindfulness practitioner. So I begin every day meditating and making sure that I'm centered and anchored and being present to start my day. And I also, exercise. About 9 months ago, I started what I call my wellness walks. And it was a combination of me getting in shape, but also me getting in tune, in touch with myself, in touch with nature. And now those walks have increased to some jogging and some running as well. But it's just a good time for me every day to do that and to get into together and get centered.
This is great. Well, I mean, you've really picked an important term there about being centered. And this topic, obviously, today is about staying positive during difficult times. And you've already shared some of those great ideas with us. So this routine that you started beforehand, do you think that kind of helped?
Oh, 100%, Evo, and just to share a little bit that, for me, I'm also a mental health advocate because it's personal to me. I also had my own mental health journey and challenges, and starting to get into a routine and working on mindfulness and getting to a place where I could feel healthy and centered was key. So those pieces and those things that I began to implement definitely helped, and it was prior to this COVID-19. So it was almost as if I had some practice to being in a situation where I had to have a routine, had to have a plan, have a program in place that would keep me centered, keep me grounded, and also just be able to kind of take some things off some of the challenges and stressors in life.
That's great. So, I mean, with all that in mind, if you could leave our viewers with 3 tips on how to stay positive during difficult times, what would your suggestions be?
Definitely so. So what I follow are my 3 pillars, my 3 Bs, which are balance, boundaries, and breaks. And those came about during my time with some personal transformation. And as I said, going through some of my own mental health challenges. And the 3Bs are really, true to me. And they ring home because as educators, we often don't take care of ourselves and understand self-care and wellness. So the first B is balance. And it truly is balance, trying to find balance. It's difficult, especially now as we talk about balance, because we have all these roles that we're trying to fill simultaneously, when previously we didn't have to worry about that. So the balance is balancing your time, energy, and efforts into people and projects that will be reciprocal, because we give so much often, but we forget about making sure that we give back to ourselves and fill our own cup. The next B is boundaries. And it's about your own personal boundaries, about standing firm, being able to say no is okay. Because for me, personally, I always was looking to increase things, do better, to what's the next step in my career, but I was always looking to help but not necessarily wanting to fill my own cup. So being able to say no is sometimes good, because you have to also make sure that you're taking care of yourself and being your number one advocate. And the last one is breaks. As I said, for me, previously being a student athlete in college and growing up, and then also, now in my profession, I was always trying to figure out what was next. I was always looking for the next challenge. I was always moving fast, trying to catch something. And in turn, I realized for me, I needed to slow down. I needed to pause. So when I was forced to kind of take a pause and do it without me wanting to, I realized the beauty in that, and being able to slow down and realizing how important it is to smell the roses, to take time to understand life. And especially in education, we don't do that enough. We often think about, how can we do more? We're always giving. We always have a lot of, compassion and feeling, but we don't look out for ourselves and taking that time out when we do it. So a break can be something very easy as a 5-10 minute meditation. It can be a 2-minute walk, especially during COVID, and a lot of us are working from home. It's getting up out of that seat you've been in for an hour and just taking a break, taking a stretch. And then also taking time out and having breaks with your family, understanding that this time is important. It's a time to reconnect. It's a time to reestablish and understand and be grateful of the things that we have in life. So definitely my 3 B's is what I would give out for tips: balance, boundaries, and breaks.
Balance, boundaries, and breaks. Evan, thank you for your insights. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day in Chicago, sir. And I look forward to catching up with you soon. Alright guys, so it's for the first round now of Crack the Code. I hope you've chosen your code. I'm just going to go over and have a look at what people have chosen so far. Okay, so there's a little bit of time left if you want to get involved in round 2 by going to this link above and registering your code. Round 1 is now been registered, so good luck everybody. Let's see what we end up with. Okay, so we've ended up with blues. So people who have chosen blue, you are still in the game. Okay, we're going to need to go to numbers. All right, just to find out now. Let's see just how close we can get here. Good luck, guys, if you're still in the game. Okay, so we've actually got a winner because we did have somebody who chose blue 2. So we don't even need to go to the letters. So let's have a look at this now. Let's see if I can give this person a call. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's gone to a mailbox. Now, I believe the winner, who's Graham, was in the chat room already, which was good to see. Not entirely sure where he's left his phone, but it's great to see that you've joined us on the show. Congratulations. A $50 Amazon gift card will be coming your way. Well done. So, our final guest is the founder and CEO of We're All a Little Crazy, the Same Here global mental health movement. This gentleman, Eric Kussin, is very passionate about supporting people around the world to make sure that they don't suffer from mental health issues, which directly relates to a personal journey of his. Eric, how are you doing, sir? You okay?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I was saying what's up as you were saying hello.
Yeah, no worries at all. So, first of all, Eric, I just want to thank you for starting this movement. I know there are other movements around the world that are promoting positive mental health. Your Same Here movement is doing a great job. So thank you very much. Can you tell us just a little bit about what inspired you to start this movement?
Yeah, sure. If you rewound 5 years ago, this is probably the last place I thought I would be. I was working in professional sports. I know the last two guests, at Barbara and Evan, were talking about passion. Sports was my passion. And life kind of smacked me in the face. I got a curveball thrown at me, and I became dysfunctional. It's the only way I can describe it. I didn't know where it came from, but it was based on prior life experiences. And when I learned that those prior life experiences can be chronically stressful and traumatic and can build up in our system and take us down the way it had taken me down, I began this crusade to try and get that message out to help folks, because I think the unfortunate common misconception when it comes to mental health is that there's two sides of the coin. You're either the sick side or the healthy side, and you're on one or the other. You either genetically have this disorder or you don't. And the truth is, we all have mental health. That mental health gets impacted because of the life experiences and the challenges we live through. So it's important for us to all consider it, all talk about it, all work on it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, again, your personal journey, which is something we connected with not so long ago, really touched me. And this was part of the reason why I've concentrated so much time and energy into my recent projects, including Ed Talks, to help support this movement. So, thank you. With this in mind, what are the ways that you keep yourself positive during this time of difficulty?
It's really interesting going through this after 2.5 years of laying in a bed dysfunctional, as I tried all these different 50 psychotropic drug combinations, TMS therapy and shock therapy, and none of those things working, because what I learned is, after coming out of that, and unfortunately I don't have time to go through all of that, the coming out of that, but the smallest little things like being able to watch TV and care about what's on TV, or taking a bite of food and enjoying each bite of food, those were things I wasn't able to do for 2.5 years. So I think the greatest human superpower that every single person has is perspective. And so the perspective that we could gain right now, I know Barbara was talking with her children or her grandchildren. For me, the perspective right now is, you think about some of the awful stories that are so unfortunate that are happening right now. People who are in the hospital by themselves, people who are having to say goodbye to loved ones through FaceTime messages. It's heartbreaking. And so, yes, it's difficult to not be able to see your family and to be face to face with them. Yes, it's difficult that you're not going in for your routine, for your job. But if you take a step back for a second and you use perspective, you say, I have my health right now. I'm functioning. I'm able to keep food on my table and shelter above me. The simple things in life, and how much those things you can actually appreciate because you had them when others don't right now. That's what keeps me positive, is looking at that perspective.
100%. So with that in mind, I mean, you've got so much to offer. And to be honest, I am really looking forward to catching up with you face to face at some point in the future and continue to work with you. Before we go on to the last bit, The throw the mic challenge that I set for people, and you obviously ended the actual message. Those types of things, how relevant is it that we continue to share our stories and messages to keep people positive?
Yeah, so you asked me very broadly to give a message at the end there that's uplifting, and I truly believe, in that video, what I said was that vulnerability is the key to connection. And you mentioned all these organizations and all these different campaigns. It's not to knock those campaigns. I think all those campaigns are well-meaning, but the underlying piece to all this in terms of sharing our stories is when people share, it's not because, it's those people who are going through something, they were brave enough because they're in that category, and so they're opening up to the world that they went through something difficult. Every single person on this planet has been through challenges in their life, and when you share that story, it helps other people, but it also helps yourself. I can tell you that it's therapeutic every time I tell my story, because it takes what's going on and circling around in here, and it gives it to other folks, and it gives it to them in a positive way. So I don't hold on to it as much, and they take it. So I think, look, going back to the earliest man and woman is sitting around a campfire and telling stories. That's what we're wired to do, is to share stories. And so I encourage everyone to keep doing it. That is the only way we break this down, is by showing that everyone does have a story.
Perfect. And I mean, that in itself is probably the strongest message you could leave people with, for people to just share their stories and connect with each other and so on and so forth. Eric, you're part of an event that's happening this weekend, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's the Never Alone Summit. I was approached by some folks from Deepak Chopra's organization and the John W. Brick Foundation that came together on it. And similar type of program to this, although they restricted us, right? You got 2 slots. You either got a 3-minute slot, which you can tell by how much I love talking, that was not the slot that I ended up getting. I was fortunate enough to get a 12-minute slot. And so it's meant to be kind of in a similar way to what you showed with your video, Evo, with people around the world passing around the mic. Here is different global leaders sharing ways to not only cope, but then be able to thrive. And it also dovetails into what you talked about sharing your story, is each of these individuals are encouraged. You see these people walking around, and Evan's got this deep booming voice, or I have a very deep voice, and you say, they're tough, they're strong. No, we go through stuff, I'll be peachy right now, just like everybody else does. And I think the perception is just because someone speaks well or projects in a certain way that everything is great. It's not true. We're balancing so many different things. That's where that vulnerability comes into play. So it's awesome to be able to be on a global stage like that for the Never Alone Summit. But exactly what Barbara spoke about, I'll applaud her, is that June 1 should be when we continue to talk about it. And 100%. Throughout the entire year. That's why we created Same Here, is because that way there's an ongoing platform, and it's not just a let's talk in that month. It's everyone's got a story. Let's share that story.
Absolutely. Eric, same here, buddy. I completely hear you. Obviously, we will be catching up very soon. Thank you very much for joining us from New York. Do enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you've tapped into trying to crack the code. That might bring a smile to your face in a couple of moments. I'm
upset because, all right, I'll just get quick with this. I was on this with you, so I couldn't go on my phone to go on Twitter to enter it. And look at what color I'm wearing. My favorite color is blue. And one of the jersey numbers I used to wear was number 2, because there was this guy, Larry Johnson, that played for the Knicks. So had I entered, I probably would have won.
You could have. Well, you know what? That's okay, because when we end this conversation, you've probably got about 30 seconds before we're about to start the next spin. So Get yourself involved, Eric. Put in your numbers, mate. Awesome. Don't forget that jersey number. Always great to speak to you, sir. Good luck, and I will be catching you very soon. All the best.
Thanks, Evo. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay, guys, so we've had our 3 guests sharing their ideas about best ways to stay positive during difficult times. And you can hear there that Eric was getting a little bit frustrated, that he wanted to make sure that he registered. I'm hoping that he's got the opportunity to register now, because we're about to start our first spin. The last code that won was Blue 3. Graham from Dubai actually won the prize for that. This is our second spin. Colours starting first of all. Good luck, everyone. It is sunny yellow, guys. And yellow is actually the most popular colour for this week's competition. So there's quite a few people left in the game. So if you chose yellow, you are still in the game. Good luck. Let's see what happens with the numbers. Okay, so number 3. So we do actually have a winner with number 3. We have someone who is yellow too, actually. So let's see if I can give this person a call. Let's have a look. Okay, so you're looking at yellow too. Here we go. Okay.
You have reached the voicemail box.
Gone to another voicemail. It is actually Kelly Bari from Birmingham, USA, who has won the second prize. Kelly, thank you very much for entering and joining us on the show this evening. A $50 Amazon gift card will be coming your way. So this is what the Wonder Wall currently looks like. Again, feel free to add to it if you would like to by going to the padlet.com/edtalkslive/same here. As we come to the end of the show, I would like to thank a few people. First of all, I would like to thank our 3 guests. They are Barbara, Evan and Eric, who have joined us all from different parts of the USA to share their ideas and thoughts. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank the education community who have been supporting us, together with people like Evan and Chris, who are constantly supporting us through the production of this show. I'd like to also thank the AHA process for supporting the show and the prizes that we're going to be giving away. Thank you very much. Our next show is going to be on the 6th of June. The actual theme for the show is going to be the future of education. We're going to be joined by another 3 guests who will be discussing this big question with me. If you want to continue this conversation, you can continue to do so by following me and engaging with me on Twitter, Evo_Hanan. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, tiny.cc/edtalkslive. And you can follow me also on Project Decade, where I get up to a few creative things with my other passions as well. So, as we draw this show to a close, it's become very, very clear that we need to stay positive during difficult times. Stay connected, keep that balance, share your stories, and make sure you keep everyone around you positive and safe. We will be ending the show with a unique performance from a student. His name is Alexander Ashlin. He is profoundly deaf with a cochlear implant. This video was created to lift everyone's spirits during this time, spread deaf awareness, and encourage people to learn sign language in a fun way. Thank you very much, Alex, for letting us show your video. I hope you have yourself a nice weekend, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, stay safe and stay at home.
However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, but say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. A million dreams, a million dreams. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.